Everybody, welcome back to Dual Planet and the podcast. Welcome to the Dual Planet podcast, the podcast where we talk all things media. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. And today, guys, we will be talking about our favorite moments from the MCU, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all the way up to the last TV show. So, not including Loki, season 2. So it's everything. It's
Which is sad
everything
because
before this comes out. Everything before Loki.
Yeah, which is
Hmm.
very sad because there's a couple of moments in the first
Maybe
episode
we'll
of Loki
do
that did
a
stand out.
runner-up episode to this once Loki is finished. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We want to also thank you, everybody. The last episode we did, technically the first episode of this new podcast, went really well, surprisingly.
Maybe because it was Marvel Spider-Man
Yeah,
related.
it's got 200 and something views, so it's gone down really well. And we're glad that everybody did enjoy that video, and obviously the podcast and what have you. But other than that, we are here to talk about the MCU. And as always, I'm obviously joined by Azteral, my co-host, my fellow host.
Indeed, I am.
But yeah, we're going to talk about our MCU favorite moments. I guess, what way do you want to do this?
I think we should do a right. How about we do top 5 moments in the MCU from our perspective, so 5 each. And then we'll sort of do some honourable mentions towards the end, where we mention some other good moments that come to mind.
Right.
So maybe alternate. So 5 each. You, me, you, me, you, me, you,
Right,
me.
got you. That sounds good to me.
So you're up first. What would be your first number? So do it in 5 being the least. You like the least favorite out of the 5, and then 1 being your favorite moment in the MCU
my
overall.
least favorite, but still a good one, I guess. Then, would be I think when Janet Van Dyne comes back from in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I think it was a heartfelt moment seeing Janet Van Dyne and Hope Van Dyne see each other again as mother and daughter and stuff like that. Seeing both of them together, seeing them be happy for once, seeing them together again as a family. That's one of the good ones, but it's obviously not my all-time favorite. I just think it's a really good scene altogether, to be fair.
I didn't even expect like any Ant-Man one to get mentioned, so that has actually surprised me quite a bit.
I like that bit.
Yeah, that is actually a
I like
good
that
moment.
I like that. I like heartfelt moments. Sometimes outside of the whole, fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm shocked. I really didn't expect an Ant-Man moment to make it into top 5.
Yeah,
For
I
either of
didn't
us.
think I was
So
going to go with that, but like, more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's a good moment that I really do enjoy, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. You?
fair enough. My number 5 is going to be the final dance battle between Star-Lord and Rogue in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Something about it sticks in my mind to this day. is one of my favorite resolutions to a conflict in the MCU, and it's such a good distraction. And Chris Pratt does phenomenal in the role.
Really does.
It's so fun. It's light-hearted. James Gunn, obviously, phenomenal director. Yeah, I love it so much.
It is a really good scene. It definitely.
Like, everyone looks like they're having a good time. There isn't. I know that Ronan sort of looks confused.
Ronan's like, "What are you doing?"
But I know for a fact in the head, the actor playing Ronan was stood there.
You can tell that that took many takes.
That must have been so difficult to film, because I would have not been able to stop laughing at Chris Pratt doing that. I wouldn't have been able to
keep a straight face during that entire thing. I feel like they must have done a bunch of takes for that.
Yeah. I want to see the bloopers so badly.
I hope that I hope that there are some out there, because that's kind of funny. My number 4, I'm gonna go number 4 wise. I think. I'm gonna go with the final fight in Shang-Chi between.
Oh, I was gonna say the exact same one. I'm gonna have to come up with a different one now. That was gonna be my number 4 as well.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, the final fight between him and his father. I think it was another heartfelt moment, but the choreography, the martial arts on display, the presence of the Mandarin, presence of Shang-Chi, the effects of the 10 rings themselves were interesting and really well done.
My boy secretly.
What?
Shout out my boy secretly.
It was very well done. It's one. I know, like, a lot of people don't like Shang-Chi, but I really do. I think it's underrated. I love it.
Shang-Chi.
I think it's underrated.
Shang-Chi was my favorite movie from this past.
I think
it was the best one.
It's one of those things, like, I grew up with martial art movies. I grew up with a lot of kung fu movies, Jackie Chan, things like that. I grew up with a lot of karate based films and stuff. So, like, I love myself some Japanese, Chinese, martial arts films, and I think Shang-Chi did really well. Like, choreography wise, top notch. Definitely very good. And yeah, what about you? Number 4. You can't do this as number 4 now, so.
So I've thought it over, considering my number 4 has been so brutally stolen from me. And my new number 4 is going to go to Moon Knight, and his resurrection after he's been shot by Arthur Harrow. I was sat thinking about it, and I have pulled up Disney Plus now to actually look through the timeline so that I can find good. Like, I'm on it. Moments.
I'm on it, just looking for, like, well, this and this and this and that.
So yeah, when he, so not the one in the temple, not the one where he's like first becomes Moon Knight, even though that is a really, really good scene. That might make it higher in my list. I don't know. But the one afterwards where he gets up and the bullets fall out of his chest, and then he stands up and he sort of fixes his, like, jacket, and the suit starts forming around him. It's such a cinematic scene, and the music is just so unbelievably awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Shout out Oscar Isaac as well.
By the way, my number 3 is a Moon Knight one.
Oh, go on, Jordan.
But
go on.
My number 3 is when Mark Spector. Yeah, am I getting these names right? Mark and Steven.
Yeah.
Is it Mark and Steven? Yeah.
Yeah.
When they balance out. Do you know when they're in the afterlife area and
when he's doing when Mark goes back for him and they like the heart, he puts the heart in his hand and they both turn to stone. Yeah, I know.
Obviously I would have gone with suit up scene, but now I think about it, that part is amazing.
Such a heartfelt moment as well.
That with the fact that happens around the time of them seeing the past about what happened when they were kids, how the DID aspect comes into play and all that stuff. Seeing how their mother actually treated them and stuff like that. It definitely was really good scene, and then later on it's followed up by both of them transforming from one, like being from Mr. Knight to Moon Knight, like talking to Khonshu. So
really, and I think the acting in that scene particularly is probably some of the best in the MCU.
It's really well done.
With Oscar Isaac giving
Oscar Isaac
of a lifetime.
Deserves a Oscar, because when it comes to a lot of people who have DID or know about DID and stuff like that, like sometimes would talk about how DID is represented in media, but a lot of people praise DID in Moon Knight, because Moon Knight really now is just a hero to the DID community. Is a hero to them, and I'm glad that they've got a hero in media, and it's done really well the way that it's portrayed. The fact that we got to have to see Stephen and Mark interact. It's like they're two different people, two different souls. Is well done, and Oscar Isaac needs a fucking Oscar. He needs an award for portraying that character.
It's a sentence and a half, isn't it? Oscar Isaac needs an Oscar.
What about your number 3?
My number 3, we're going to shift away from Moon Knight, but not too far. We're going to go to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go to... I'm going to count it as one scene, even though it's probably technically classed as 2. But Andrew and Toby's arrival.
I'd say that's one scene.
Yeah. When Ned opens the portals for them to step through. Mainly because it's a core memory for me now, because my cinema erupted into absolute
I was the only
chaos.
one in my cinema who went fucking nuts for Charlie Cox's Daredevil, which really annoyed me. Everyone else in there went crazy over Andrew and Toby, and I was sat there going nuts over Daredevil. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think the fact that we sort of knew they were going to be in it, but the fact that they were able to just perfectly show different versions of Peter
it got
Parker
to the point where people started not believing they were going to be in it. So when they were in it, that's what was surprising.
The way that they sort of were able to portray like 3 different versions of Peter Parker, one who's been through so much tragedy in Andrew's, one that's so experienced in Toby's, and then one that is still so naive in Tom Holland's. All 3 of them coming together later on in the film was incredible, but I particularly like how when they first appear, it's like watching like Amazing Spider-Man 3 or watching, Spider-Man 4 for Toby. It's such a heartwarming scene, and for everyone's reaction to it, it just made it even more special and so much of a better scene.
It really did. It made it amazing. Tom, like whoever's your favorite Spider-Man, you've all got to agree that every single one of them has their attributes. Everyone, single one of them has
I
good and bad.
I personally like Andrew Garfield because
Yeah.
of the swinging. His like movement is the best out of all three, except from the last swing from No Way Home. Actually, No Way Home's last swing's pretty good as well.
Really good. I just
What about you for number
number
two?
2 for me. I'm gonna also go a No Way Home route, but I'm going the scene where Tom, Peter, senses Goblin
In the
apartment.
yeah, where it's like he's having an
Because
anxiety attack.
that like got to show us, it showed us how his spider sense worked. It showed us how it worked a lot. Really, spider sense was mainly a thing and named in Toby's world. In Andrew's, I don't think it was mentioned. In Tom's, it's called the Peter Tingle for some reason.
Because it's a funny
Yeah,
joke.
and but that scene where the camera's like in on him and it moves with him, then
Yeah.
he looks around the place. Norman moves. Doc Ock looks at him, and then Peter webs his hand, and then you hear the voice, and you hear the lines. These are not curses; these are gifts. That was definitely an amazing moment in that film, and it was very eerie as well. And the fact that he targeted Aunt May really just made the scene entirely momentous and amazing. And then leading up to seeing Toby and Andrew and them talking to Tom about loss and stuff like that, and basically telling him never let the world know who you are and stuff like that. It was done really well.
Yeah, I agree.
I will also
I agree
agree
very
that
much.
with someone that I watched a video on TikTok, they talked about Flash Thompson. How Flash Thompson from the Toby films is better than the one. I mean, how the Flash Thompson from Andrew's film is better than the one from Toby's or Tom's, which I agree with because he was this bully and stuff like that. But once Uncle Ben was killed, he, became nicer. Like he understood. I just wanted to get.
Yeah, he was actually sorry.
Which one number 1 then? Oh, is it number 2?
Number
Oh, yeah,
two, isn't it?
yeah,
For
number
me?
2.
Yeah. My number 2 is going to go to. I'm gonna give it to Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
And to the portals
yeah.
scene with the first full Avengers assemble in the MCU. Such an epic scene after 2 years of waiting between Infinity War and Avengers Endgame.
Like we spent all those years with end credit scenes, everything to do with the Tesseract and everything to do with the Infinity Gems, films always mentioning them and stuff like that, and it all led up to that moment for all of these characters to be together on one screen, and it was done good.
And it was glorious. Yeah. The feelings were very high. It was something a lot of people were very, very, very passionate about because, let's be honest, if it was bad, people weren't going to be very happy. Yeah. And so I yeah, I think that's worthy of number
Right,
2.
number 1 for me.
What's your favourite moment in the MCU, Joe?
I was gonna go with right. That I'm gonna leave this for an honorable mention because I was gonna go with something else. But favorite moment, and it's at the end of Endgame. Tony's death, the snap, the end,
The
snap
snap.
2.0 that saves everybody. 3.0.
3.0.
Tony being the one to do it. Tony's death, and I still to this day am upset that they cut the kneeling scene out. Because they should
Likewise.
have kept that in. Because even like the thing is, guys, if you don't know about it, there's a scene that they cut from Endgame where after Tony, I think it's after his actual death, like when he actually dies, everybody around him kneels. Thor, T'Challa, all of them, they kneel. A human being with a suit of armor, who a lot of them had arguments with time to time, had gods and kings and people more powerful than him kneeling to his side as he died. If that didn't speak volumes for what type of man Tony was and how much they cared, that was an amazing scene, and I can't believe they cut that. Once I heard about that scene and I saw it, I was very upset that that was cut. Of course, that would have been amazing to keep in. But overall, the emotion felt in that moment. The emotion felt inside the cinema that day. My cinema was packed. My cinema was full up. I couldn't even get like a snack or a drink from the stand outside because it was that full. And soon as I got in, sat down, film started, and once it got to that scene, I instantly just thought to myself, wow. It was a heartfelt scene, definitely sad. Very well loved character, and yeah, it's just one of those things where, at the end of the film, everybody clapped. I've only had one other experience like that, and that were amazing to have everybody do a standing ovation to an amazing movie. But yeah, what about your number 1?
It's going to be hard to top that one. Got to be said. Going to be hard. However, I might be able to pull it off with this one. My number 1, my favourite moment in the MCU, belongs to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And it is the final confrontation between Rocket Raccoon and the High Evolutionary. Gotta be done, John. Gotta be done. It is honestly when he drops down and he says, "My name's Rocket Raccoon," and then blasts him. I was like, "Damn right, damn right." This movie, the movie up to that point had been emotional as anything. It had been tense. It had been exceptional. Every actor in it did amazing. And then for that scene to come from a character that up until that point had been like very jokey, and it was like very serious because obviously he's just found out that he's actually a raccoon. Yeah, it was flawless.
That moment is amazing.
I don't know if it beats Tony's death in Endgame. You guys in the comments will have to obviously fight about that. But I think they're of equal merit.
Rocket was such an understood character, and I feel like he was definitely very well done. Oh, right. My first honorable mention is gonna go to when Peter got dusted.
Oh.
Because
Oh, you're going that route. Oh, I see. No, I see how it is.
I'm
John.
going when Peter was dusted because I like that scene. It's definitely interesting the fact that he took a bit longer to dust than others, because obviously there's those theories out there, and I'm going to go with that they're true, that Peter, because of his spider sense at that moment, knew something was happening to him. He knew what was happening, so it took a bit for him to turn to dust as he was trying to fight it and hold on, but he couldn't. And him and Tony holding him, and you could see the look on Tony's face of I messed up. It was a very heartfelt moment in Endgame, in Infinity War.
Go on.
But yeah, that were a very heartfelt moment. What about you?
My honourable mention is gonna go to the first ever I Am Iron Man.
Okay.
I think start of an era. You know, we spoke about the end of it. We spoke about a lot of nice moments, but that was
where
the
it
beginning.
all started.
That's when we knew that something was going to be good.
As soon as Iron Man 1 came out, and then as the films kept coming out, we knew what was coming. As soon as the first Avengers movies hit us, we were in for a hell of a ride with this universe. And Marvel might be the first to create a cinematic universe of this scale. But yeah, there's definitely been ups and downs, twists and turns, but it all started with I Am Iron Man, which was a very good movie, very good. Anything else?
There's a lot of good moments that we could go through, but I feel like if we went through any more, we would be here for days. So I think we'll leave it off there. Obviously, we will probably do more of these in the future where we talk about moments.
So you guys know we will be trying to make these episodes a bit longer. It's just that we're recording at a late time today. Stuff like that, but like what?
Late, actually.
Very late. We're recording this at 10 p.m. Our time. As well was busy today. But yeah, we hope everybody did enjoy. We're gonna hope to make these longer. And try and not do planned stuff, like have segments within it, like different mini games and stuff of that nature, and then little discussions and stuff like that. But we will plan those accordingly, come up with different ideas, stuff like that. Just all nerdy shit, really. But yeah, we hope everybody did enjoy today's podcast, wherever you're listening to this to. On YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. On audio platforms, you can check out our YouTube channel, where we post the video version. Or you can watch the video version on Spotify as well, because that is now a feature. But yeah, hope you did enjoy. And yeah, this has been Dual Planet, the channel we talk all things, the podcast where we talk all things media. And I've been one of your hosts, Slasher.
I've been your other host, Azteral.
We forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure this is one of them. It's over, Anakin!